Over 1 million engines die every year because of simple oil change mistakes. That's $2.8 billion in preventable damage. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps that stop blown head gaskets, destroyed bearings, and engines that turn into scrap metal. At the end, I'll destroy one oil myth that still costs drivers $5 grand in repairs. Stick with me, these are the details most shops skip and most owners never hear. Step 1. Never use an oil change place. Picture this: you pull into a quick lube, pay the cheap price, drive off, and 40 miles later the engine seizes. That's exactly what happened to a customer of mine after a Jiffy Lube visit. The tech drained the old oil and simply forgot to put new oil back in. These places live on volume and low labor costs. That usually means rushed work, underpaid techs, and shortcuts. Double gaskets, crushed drain plugs, missing crush washers, filters that fall off. Every one of those horror stories starts at a high-volume oil change shop. If you want the job done right, either find a real mechanic who takes pride in the work or do it yourself. Honestly, doing it yourself is still safer than most busy shops because even good mechanics can cut corners when the waiting room is full. Step 2. Warm up your engine before draining the oil. Cold oil is thick. It can move up to 10 times slower than warm oil. That means sludge, metal particles, and varnish stay stuck in the corners of the engine instead of flowing out with the drain. You don't need an expensive engine flush. Just drive the car for about 10 minutes so the oil reaches normal operating temperature, then shut it off and wait 5 to 10 minutes. That short cool down lets the hottest oil settle a bit so you don't burn yourself while still keeping everything suspended and ready to leave the engine. Later, I'll show you why a chemical flush can actually destroy an engine. First, though, we need to talk about the single biggest cause of oil-related failure. Step 3. Use the correct oil specifications. This is the #1 way engines get wrecked. Open the owner's manual before you buy a single bottle. You need two things exactly right: the API service classification and the SAE viscosity grade. The API rating starts with S for gasoline engines and currently runs up to SQ. Using an older SN oil in a car that requires SB can create sludge and trigger oil pressure warnings. Real fleet data showed an 80% jump in pressure alarms when the wrong API grades were mixed. Older oils also carry higher phosphorus and sulfur that poison catalytic converters, another $2,500 bill. Viscosity is just as critical. Too thin and you lose film strength. Too thick and you create drag, starve tight clearances, and build heat. The correct oil also carries the additive package designed for longer drain intervals. I run full synthetic every 5,000 miles. Anything longer and you better be dead on with the specification. Before you buy oil, make sure you watch the video I linked about the one popular brand you should stop using immediately. Save that one for later, we still have critical filter and sealing steps coming. Step 4. Use OEM or high-quality filters. Every cold start produces a second or two of metal-to-metal contact before oil pressure builds. Those microscopic shavings end up in the filter. A cheap filter lets particles larger than 40 microns through, big enough to score bearings in journals. Quality filters, OEM, Bosch, Mobil 1, etc., trap down to 10-20 microns. They also have a properly calibrated bypass valve so the engine never starves if the media clogs, and a real anti-drainback valve so oil stays in the filter overnight instead of running back to the pan. Dry starts are silent engine killers. Spending an extra $5 on a filter is cheap insurance against a $5,000 rebuild. Step 5. Inspect the oil. Once a year, send a sample for lab analysis. It's the closest thing to an MRI for your engine. If you don't want to spend the money, at least look at what comes out of the drain. Black and slightly burnt is normal. Grainy between your fingers means metal is circulating. Visible metallic glitter means bearings, cams, or pistons are already shedding material. Stop driving and get it checked. A milky or coffee-colored look means coolant is mixing with oil. That can be a head gasket, cracked block, or failing oil cooler, but it can also just be condensation from short trips in cold weather. Either way, don't ignore it. If the oil looks healthy, move on to the next step most people and some shops still get wrong. Step 6. Lubricate the oil filter gasket. Before the new filter goes on, put a thin film of clean engine oil on the rubber gasket. This lets it seal properly and keeps the gasket from tearing or sticking. After you remove the old filter, make sure the old gasket came off with it. Double gasketing is one of the most common ways filters work loose and fall off on the highway. Oil pressure disappears in seconds and the engine follows. Step 7. Use the right torque for the drain plug. Clean the area around the drain hole. Always install a brand new crush washer, they cost pennies. Reusing or flipping an old one almost guarantees a slow leak. Thread the plug in by hand first so you never cross-thread the pan. Then torque it to the exact specification in the manual with a real torque wrench. Over-tightening strips threads or cracks the pan. Under-tightening lets the plug fall out on the road. Either way, you're looking at thousands in damage. This is the single most common mistake at quick lube shops. Step 8. Use your hand to tighten the oil filter. Never use a wrench to install a spin-on filter. Thread it on by hand until the gasket touches the block, then turn it another 3/4 to 1 full turn or follow the exact recommendation printed on the filter. Over-tightening makes the next change a nightmare and can leave the old gasket behind. Under-tightening lets it leak or fall off. Hand tight is the correct method for almost every passenger car filter. Step 9. Clean the oil filler cap and neck. That black crust around the filler opening is abrasive grit. If it falls into the engine when you remove the cap, it turns into grinding paste. Wipe everything clean before you open it. Use a clean funnel every time and store that funnel covered so dust and sand never ride along into the crankcase. Small particles that slip past a cheap filter will destroy bearings and turbocharger clearances over time. Step 10. Measure the right amount of oil. Too much oil is just as destructive as too little. Overfill lets the crankshaft whip the oil into foam. Aerated oil cannot lubricate. Catastrophic failure follows. Know the exact capacity from the manual. Pour about half a quart less than the full amount first, then check and top up. Use a clean funnel and wipe any spills immediately. Oil on hot exhaust parts can smoke or catch fire. Step 11. Inspect the PCV valve. Short trip driving cooks the PCV valve with moisture and fuel vapors. When it clogs, crankcase pressure rises, blows out seals, and creates oil leaks. You'll also see rough idle misfires and sometimes check engine lights. Pull the valve, shake it, you should hear the plunger rattle freely. Clean it with carb cleaner if it's sticky or replace it. They cost about $20 and last roughly 30,000 miles. Ignoring one can cost thousands in gasket and seal work. Step 12. Check the air filter. A restricted engine air filter makes the motor work harder, cuts fuel economy, and increases wear. A clogged cabin filter strains the blower motor and can kill the AC compressor. Both filters take seconds to inspect. If they're only lightly dusty, tap them clean, otherwise replace them. They're cheap and protect systems that cost far more. Step 13. Check the oil level and check for leaks. Park on level ground. Run the engine for 30 seconds, shut it off, and wait 5 minutes so oil drains back to the pan. Pull the dipstick, wipe it, reinsert fully, and read it. Oil should sit near the full mark but never above it. Then get under the car and look for drips at the drain, plug, filter, and any other joints. Fix leaks now, not after the engine runs dry. Step 14. Reset the oil life monitor. Modern oil life systems use algorithms, not just mileage. If you don't reset the monitor after a change, the computer will give false early warnings or worse, stop warning you when the oil is actually spent. Check the owner's manual for the exact reset procedure for your car. Do it every time. Do you need an engine flush at every oil change? No, modern engines that see regular 5,000-mile synthetic changes almost never need a chemical flush. The only times a flush might make sense are unknown service history on a used car, visible heavy sludge, switching a neglected engine from conventional to synthetic, or after severely overdue oil changes. Even then, the risk is real. Aggressive flush chemicals can break loose large chunks of sludge that then block oil passages, hydraulic lifters, or variable valve timing solenoids. Oil starvation and engine failure can follow. If the engine has been maintained properly, skip the flush. The safest cleaning method is still warm oil and a thorough drain. That's the complete process that keeps engines alive past 200,000 miles. Do these steps every time and you remove almost every common oil change failure. If you want the next layer of protection, watch the video that shows the once-a-month checks that make engines last forever.